Okay, great. So how does it feel to be here in Berlin with the show?
Oh, I've not seen the show yet, so I don't know how the show's done. But Berlin's incredible. I've never been before. It's one of the few kind of festivals that I've not been to. Great town, really cool town. It's sort of everything I thought it would be and nothing like I thought it would be. So we've been for very long walks. And we've done the Jewish Museum, the Checkpoint Charlie, really nice exhibition on the Stasi, which they've opened that place up. And strange looking at all those files. Really weird, really very strange. I look forward to the day when the CIA and the MI5 do the same thing.
And so you're saying you haven't actually seen it, so are you going to the premiere tonight? Is that going to be the first time you're going to actually see it?
Kidding me, it's 7 hours long, I'm not going to watch it. Yeah, I've seen it, I saw it in the Sundance. All 7 hours of it.
In one go?
In one go, yeah. They showed 2 hours, then a 10-minute break, then another 2 hours, 2 episodes.
So
and then lunch, which we had with the audience, yes. And I was outside, I was really impressed that we were getting to meet the audience and have lunch with them. And by the time I'd finished to impress the audience, they ate all the lunch. So I'm saying, what a great thing. And I end up with no lunch. I had to go out and get my hamburger for the next 2 episodes. So much for egalitarianism. But it was, I have to say it's very good, I have to say. If I thought it was shit, I would say so.
And what were the kind of initial audience reactions to it? Were they all quite positive?
Oh God, yeah, they went nuts. They applauded when I get shot. Oh God, is that a spoiler? Who cares? I get shot, I die. Yeah, I had a strange feeling about that one. I mean, it's weird having people literally, and they whooped and they hollered. It was like, I hope it's the character. Whereas this guy's so shit, they're like, oh man, shoot him. Somebody do us a favour, just shoot the bad actor.
Are you looking forward to European audiences seeing it? Because obviously this is just bringing it to Europe.
I'm just curious whether they'll applaud. I'll be really interested. Will they be more restrained? Or will they just go, yes, kill the bad actor, get rid of him? I have no idea how they'll take to it. I was very Sundance is quite a conservative kind of audience. And I was surprised at how much they embraced it, as it were. Because I guess sensibility-wise, you would say it's more European, kind of art house. But I think in Berlin, you never know. I don't know the Berlin audience. I mean, I've done Cannes and Venice and San Sebastian and Toronto and Sundance and all that, but I've never done Venice. So you never know. Every audience is different, particularly during festivals. In 7 hours, they'll either love you for it or hate you for it.
Yeah, I only got to watch one episode, so...
Do you only get to see one?
Yeah.
God, I've ruined it. Will I die? You'll be glad to know.
So could you...
Or maybe you applauded in the first. Like, oh yeah, it's over. Fuck.
So can you just tell us about your character since we're all celebrating the fact that he's been shot? Why?
He's the bad actor. I'm rotten about talking about characters. He is what he is. He's a twisted, strange soul. On the surface, I guess, after one episode, I guess you think you've got a kind of handle on this guy. Whereas as the series progresses, you realise he's even worse than you first imagined. He's even worse than you first imagined. He's got some serious issues. Serious issues, and he kills dogs. Every guy I play these days kills dogs or tries to shoot horses.
I did see that bit though.
I know. Of course he does that in the first episode. He's a dog killer.
And was he the main draw, that character, having the character such depth and such an interesting character, was he the main draw for you getting involved?
Well, the minute I saw he shot dogs, I thought I better do this. I'm the only actor that's willing to shoot a dog. I love dogs, but I read the script. I thought it was a really excellent piece of work, and it's brave, and it's its own being. Like, it's still within a certain genre, but you could tell it's got its own sensibility, which is what I really liked. It's not the usual. There was something quite different about it, which I liked. If it hadn't have been, I wouldn't have done it. It's a long way to travel to do a boring job. But there was something very special about it, I have to say.
Yeah, and how was working out there? Because obviously the land is nicknamed Paradise, and it's just the landscapes are amazing. That must have been pretty awesome. Were you guys just up there, kind of permanently working in the location?
Yeah, it's stunning. Have you been?
No, I haven't.
It's stunning. It really is. In fact, I didn't appreciate how stunning until I saw this series. I'm not saying to make it look better than it is, because it is stunning. But when you actually see it, the kind of how majestic, mysterious and dark the landscape is, it's quite something. But to be honest, I live in Glasgow, I live in Scotland, and Scotland's pretty damn beautiful, but New Zealand would come a close second to it.
And finally, you're looking forward to the premiere tonight. You're looking forward to walking the red carpet and all that carry on.
Yeah, it's all bollocks. Red carpets is just bollocks. I enjoy them because you get people screaming and shouting at you, and they never know who the hell you are. So I always enjoy that. I get a kick out of that. I love seeing people shout your name and they're all going, "Who is he? All right, Peter. Look this way. What's his name? Okay, what's he been in?" I don't have to put up with all the other stuff. I can just do that, watch them all get confused and think I'm someone else, and then I get to out for a cigarette, and sometimes even get to see films. I don't get to see many films in film festivals, which is a real shame. And I've never done, like I said, I've never done Berlin. I don't know how, is there a big red carpet for a TV 7 hour? More kind of blue, beige carpet probably won't be the red one's for competition, isn't it?
No, I think it is a red. I think it's a red carpet. It depends where it's been screened, but yeah, it's quite a big red carpet.
It's the cinema just round the corner, apparently.
Okay.
Whatever one that is.
Yeah.
I must have seen it. I know. I saw a red carpet last night. We walked by. There was lots of there was someone famous there. We couldn't see who it was.
I think it was Shia LaBeouf and
Oh, is that what it was?
Rupert Grint as well. Yeah.
Oh, it was Rupert, right?
Yeah.
No, I must have been them then. I don't know. There was lots of paparazzis going.
Great, well thank you for talking to me.
My pleasure.
Good to meet you.
Me too.
And I'll vouch that Scotland is beautiful.
Very.
I'm up there with you.
Have you been?
Yeah, well my parents live in Berwick-upon-Tweed.
Oh,
so it's on the border. So,
of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
know it well.
Do you get much further north?
Well, did I go up on?
Did you just go in the lowlands of the borders of Scotland?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice.
If you get a chance, try and go to the Highlands.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're ready. Rolling.
Shouldn't we be recording this bit? It's the most interesting.
Yeah, that's right. It gets worse from here on.
So you've got the series premiering tonight in Berlin. How are you excited about that? Are you excited about European audiences seeing the series?
What? I get to talk first? No, we're excited that this audience is going to see it at the Berlin Film Festival because it's a really unusual event for 6 hours of one story unfolding in front of you. You know, the challenge is to hold the audience's attention for that amount of time, which people are sceptical about. But we've seen it already with an American audience, and they were captivated the whole time. So we're excited to see the same happen to a international audience.
Well, we'll
in
see
Berlin.
if it does. I think that's going to be interesting for us is to see how it works, because I think probably for me the best achievement of this work is that it's a crime mystery story, but it's also ironic and humorous. And in America they were really laughing a lot as well as kind of gasping. But we do know we understand the European humour, so we'll see what happens to us. Very
We're
interesting.
going to introduce it as a kind of Australian version of Commissar Rex.
I don't know what
That was for
Commissar
you.
Rex is.
Don't
She
put
doesn't
that
know.
in. Don't you know what Commissar Rex is? Inspector
No,
Rex.
Inspector Rex, that's the Alsatian dog, that's the detective.
Yeah. Who solves all the cases and gets the guy's hand who's holding the gun.
I'm sure
At
I would
the
have been
end.
for that. Yeah, so Peter was saying you got a really good reaction to Sundance. He was saying it was amazing and people were really responsive and like actually cheering in certain elements of it. That must have been brilliant just to see that and see it pan out like that for you guys.
I think what we experienced with this long, it's more like a novel, I guess, you know, a novel length screening was that the audience became like a community or a family, and they went out together and had lunch, and then they came back, and the story's still going on, and who did it, and what's happening. And I think what was moving for me was looking at the audience and seeing how tenderised they had become, and
they unloaded
kind of
emotionally
loyal
in
to
the
the story.
foyer,
Yeah,
in the half time, really seriously.
talk to us. And I haven't had that experience before. It was really quite
Very
beautiful.
intense.
Yeah,
And they
intense.
waited for an hour afterwards to talk it through and debrief.
So that was 7 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
And not only like 2 people left, and that was after it was over. Everyone else was like,
They just stayed for the Q&A, which is really unusual. So it was really, in this age where I think people feel like focus and concentration is hard to come by, it was a real challenge. And the audience kind of leapt at it as a new thing. But I mean, it's not that binging on series or television is something new that happens, but generally by yourself over the weekend.
yeah, they shared it together. That was the other thing. Yeah.
I think it's quite good getting to see it all in one go, because I've only seen the first episode, and I think a lot of people, if they do get into a series, do like to watch it in quite close succession, so the story's still kind of going. But unfortunately, I've only seen the first episode, and Peter also let slip what happened to his character.
That won't hurt. We know what happens, and we get got every time.
Yeah, well, that's good to know. That's good to know. So you've got an amazing cast, that work really, really well, like kind of very unusual actors. Well, not unusual actors, but like an unusual combination of actors. You must have been really happy getting those on board and with their performances.
Well, I love actors, and the joy for me is turning up and seeing what they're going to do, because they had some really meaty roles, and it was brilliant being able to give them parts to really sink their teeth into and surprise us.
Jane is fantastic with actors. They just sort of come. But they relax as soon as they start talking to her, and she sort of, I don't know, leads them around the set and calms them down. There was an amazing a rehearsal with Holly Hunter where she had to become a very difficult character who has no sort of hidden agenda, and watching that unfold was really amazing for me.
Yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I can't comment. It's I trust them. That's the main thing, I think.
And kind of, where did the idea behind the story come from? Was it like it's something that you've been thinking about for a while?
It's really a collection of a few ideas that comes together very often, but I wanted to tell a story set in that area, because I've myself been going there for about 14 years, and I just really, really love it. And I wanted to tell a modern story with modern issues of relationships and life and problems. And I think Jared and I have got a very similar enjoyment of the absurdities of life, and humour, and the idea of working this out together and bringing characters together is,
There's 6
really
storylines.
fun, and I love detective genres.
Yeah, there's 6 storylines, so there's a lot of opportunity to explore different themes within that context of a detective story, and know that if we'd done the crime properly and clues properly, people would stay for our other thoughts about life and relationships and the truth and seek the adventure of seeking.
I think that, in a way, what we hoped to do was to discuss about the mystery of life, and that it isn't actually ever resolved. It's just trying to describe it.
Yeah, we're both at a period in our lives where our relationships have sometimes succeeded, sometimes failed.
Some terrible times and some great times.
Our kids are grown to a certain point. We're kind of looking back over a landscape of triumphs and failures and
real, painful times as well. And I think that the landscape of the story reflects that too.
And kind of what's your working relationship like? Do you each take on like specific roles, and how well do you work together?
Really well. No, we do. Yeah.
We go to work and talk about what happened to us last night and what she said or what he said, for about half an hour. And we get into a role-playing situation. Sometimes it's related to the story, sometimes maybe not,
I think once again, we've known each other a long time. We were boyfriend and girlfriend at film school and wrote our first feature together. And it's a unique friendship because we do have an affection and trust for each other that I think it would be hard to. I mean, we're happily in the writing room, just go off and have sleeps, And so it's a very free and playful space that we're working with. And it, actually, it's a big job writing 6 hours, but that was the easiest part of it. We muck around a great deal, but then when we go, we're really fast. So, and also we don't protect ourselves very much. If I've written something and I'm excited by it, I'll show Jared, and if he goes no, it's rubbish, and I'll go, oh, thanks,
I
it's just
say rubbish.
Thank you, it's good to know. I don't have to waste another 2 weeks hoping it was something good. So that is the empowerment of the two people. A lot of writing is the fantasy that maybe I've written something good. And sometimes you just don't know the difference between what's good and what's bad.
It helps
if
to
you do it
pass
yourself.
It through by someone else, And we're not precious about what we do. Most of the attitude is, well, let's just see how this goes. And that kind of sense of experimentation with the character is what keeps you on the edge of the, on breaking new ground kind of thing, Can we get away with this?
We also quite often play the different characters, and Jared doesn't always play the guys, I often play the guys and you play the girls or the children.
Yeah, kids.
If we're having trouble with a scene, that's quite often we'll say, okay, can we come in and do that scene, let's have a go. And you don't know where it's going to go, so you're playing in the moment with the other character. So,
and most of the time it doesn't go anywhere much. It's sort of it's like a slag pile at a mining camp. You've got to run it through a sluice afterwards. Yeah. So when you're after 6 hours of that, it takes quite a bit of
you have to have some patience. And then you suddenly go, oh, I love that. What was it again? What did you say?
I forget.
Get out of character. Yeah, that can happen too. But I think the directing and the actual physical making of it was very hard work. I did half of it. I had an amazing other director, Garth Davis, who did half of it as well. But the writing comparison was. It's done in a room. You can go out and have coffee. You can have ice creams. You can, you can miss a deadline and then make up the time. But with the actual directing, it's a very sustained focus. It's really.
That's the hard bit. Well.
Yeah, it's hard to bear that stress for 18 weeks or actually longer because you do pre-production too.
Jane got together an incredible team of people that all worked, which is pretty rare in any production, and that it created a perfect storm actually of creative abilities. Everyone worked together really well, and because they liked the script so much, they put in extra effort.
Basically, we were making a feature every 4.5 weeks. But with, I would say feature film expectation, we had a really, really, really smart crew.
Would you do it again?
I'd do it differently. I think I realised I would co-write again, and then I think cast. He's in. Yeah, he's in. Cast again. I mean, I would actually, do less directing.
Villain had a much bigger part, and that men had more serious and complex roles than they have in most Jane Campion films.
It's hard to imagine how that would be possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all?
That's all.
Sean?
Yeah.
Sean?
Yeah, Sean.
Sean.
Yeah. It's great talking to you guys. Thank you. Thanks for your time. And I loved it. I've only seen the first episode. Yeah, you should. Yeah, definitely. Cool. Okay. So how does it feel to be here in Berlin?
Well, it's very exciting. Berlin feels very exciting, feels very young and old. The energy here feels very young, very fresh. And I want to, it makes me really want to get out and explore. See what's going on. What young artists are doing here, and see what's left of the wall. Just.
And were you in Sundance as well with the program? Yeah. So obviously you've seen the really good audience, positive reactions so far. Are you looking forward to the audiences seeing it tonight, the European audiences?
Well, I'm not going to see it tonight, but I adored seeing the success of it, the success of the connection with the audience at Sundance. I felt that they really engaged with the subtlety of the movie and with the sense of humor of the movie, which, as dark as it is, it's also got an incredible amount of laughs, because Jane and Jared they're pretty fun. So the movie has an odd levity about the community. But I'm excited to hear what people how they feel about it, and I'll get that sense, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. And I've only seen the first episode so far. So can you just explain your character? Because obviously in the first one she's not really in that much, is she?
Well, the character that I play is someone who is considered a guru, but who rejects that definition, doesn't want to be a guru, but also allows it. So there's a contradiction, between the rejection and the acceptance. It's a character unlike anybody that I've ever played before. There's a tremendous gravitas to the woman. Man, which was also interesting. The androgyny was very interesting, intriguing. But really, I think the character remains somewhat of an enigma throughout the movie. And she has quite a resonance, There's a residual effect of GJ throughout the story.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how she pans out, because it's as you say, it's very interesting.
Or does she pan out? We don't. It's hard.
Was it like when you read the script, you were like, she's intriguing, I really want this role? Is that how you felt?
Well, Jane offered me the role, and I read it, and I was like, I don't understand. Why me? I don't know. I don't get it. So I had a conversation with Jane, and within 3 minutes she talked me into doing it. But my initial response was totally to be intrigued with the character, but not really having any way into the character for myself. So, but within a couple of minutes she convinced me.
Yeah. So was she quite hard to play? Because obviously you say she is complex, and you couldn't find a way in. And did Jane kind of help with that? Was that like a working partnership to create her?
Well, that's one of the pleasures of working with Jane, is that it is a total partnership. You're soldiers in arms. That was what I experienced when we did the piano, and that's also how I felt about doing Top of the Leg. It was a journey that I knew that I would thoroughly relish, and that it's a partnership based, on trust. Mm-hmm. And that's also a privilege, because sometimes maybe the only element that you can trust might be your own self. And in this, I trusted all of the elements, my fellow actors and the cinematographer and the writing, and then, of course, most importantly, the writing and the direction. And then I also knew that it was going to be a blast to do.
And did you enjoy the format? Because obviously it's like 7 hours, isn't it? So is it quite intense having to kind of, your character's obviously going to progress through the 7 hours, but it's not like a feature film where it's you have your kind of certain hour and a half, 2 hours. Did you enjoy that side of it?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy features, and this totally felt like we were doing a movie. It in no way felt like we were doing anything but a movie. That's what Jane knows how to do. That's what the rhythm, the tempo, everything about it was set up. In that regard, it didn't feel any different from the piano. But I also believe that there's an incredible luxury in exploration that you can take when you're doing something for television. And the fact that this was 6 hours had more of a novelesque, it felt a little more like a novel than a feature film. And the investment that you can make in each character, that's why GJ was more appealing, because it was a 6 hour event. The residual impact of each character takes on a different life when you're talking about 6 hours as opposed to 2. The audience makes a different commitment as well, and the audience perceives each character slightly differently when you know that you're in it for the longer haul. People take on a different importance. And I felt that definitely with this character. And Jane knew that before I did. When Jane offered it to me, I said, the character doesn't even have a lot of screen time, but Jane knew that the resonance was just going to be a different event.
And how would you describe being directed by Jane? Because obviously you've worked together before, and we were just saying that apparently she's got quite a calming presence on a set. She's quite like calm and focused, and that really helps. How is it for you working with her?
Well, we played a lot of games. I mean, we goofed around a lot. Shooting didn't feel as precious as it sometimes feels on other sets. It's, where everybody tense up, the camera's rolling. I mean, nothing like that. It was far more kind of casual in a way, which sets up relaxation, with everyone. It just doesn't feel quite as important as it sometimes does. And that is a great release valve. People feel happier. Happiness is good to me on a set. And Jane's sets are, I think, particularly happy. Almost every actor that I know loves to work feeling really good.
And finally, how was filming on the location? Because obviously I've seen the first episode and it's absolutely beautiful. And obviously from what I've seen, you're based in paradise. So that must have been pretty amazing, just being there.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. I mean, there was something almost disorienting about the scale of the place, between the bottom of the valley, the lake, and then the mountains. It was slightly, the scale of it was impossible to gauge. I mean, I feel that way about New Zealand. It has, Milford Sound is also a place where it feels not hallucinogenic, but just, it's a little, you can't quite figure out, what your place is physically in the landscape, which I thought worked really beautifully in this story.
Excellent. Well, thank you for talking to me. It was good to meet you, and I hope you get to
Und wen wollt ihr haben?
Campion, Hunter, and the actor Mullan.
Alles gut, es war ja nichts, dann ist dann Abend cool. Ja. War heftig und gut. Ja, fand ich auch. Ja, nee, also. So. Wieso?
Mit der Kollegin sagen